Star Wars fans, look out. A controversial move may be happening behind the scenes at Lucasfilm, getting ready for the 50th anniversary of A New Hope. Today, we'll tell you what we're hearing in regards to a rumor about Disney using artificial intelligence to upscale the original theatrical release from the 70s to 4K, no, 8K, and 120 frames per second. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a dandy of a day. Thank you for coming our way. We are coming to you from somewhere sunny USA, where the sun is always shining and the energy is always vibing towards the positive. Folks, if you would be so kind as to click the like button, let's get started right now talking about the latest, maybe positive, news about Star Wars. You'll notice that we don't have anything on the screen right now. It's because this is an exclusive rumor we're bringing to you. And you can see it on the Chiron down below. I have been told from a source, although folks, take this with a grain of salt or perhaps a wheelbarrow of salt, whatever you want to do, how much salt you need, whatever the sodium intake is. Check with your medical professional to find out what you need. But we're in rumor and speculation territory. Lauren and panel, I am now hearing from one of our sources that Lucasfilm may be using artificial intelligence to upscale the original New Hope to 8K in 120 frames per second. We're talking about the original theatrical cut from the 70s, and I'm putting two and two together. I don't know that this is what they would release into theaters for the, I guess, the 50th anniversary. Lauren, if that's what they're doing, and we're hearing that now, and you know, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago we were telling you that Disney Plus was going to devour Hulu, and they're doing it now. So, you know, there's a track record. You decide what you want to believe. But Lauren, if they do decide to re-release the theatrical version that hasn't been allowed to be seen hardly at all, if they release that one, would you want it in the original resolution and the original, you know, the graininess and all that? Or do you want them to come in with AI and make a new kind of experience that we've never had before with something that's extremely high resolution and extremely high frame rate? What say you?
Well, I'm kind of a fan of film grain, but I'm not a purist by any stretch of the imagination. The more versions of the film that are available that allow people to get the version that they want, the happier I am. Now, I had heard a similar rumor myself not too long ago. I didn't have the technical details about what they were planning to upscale it to, but I do believe this is probably going to be an announcement they're going to want to make. I'm guessing maybe around April next year would be my
just too bad we're doing it.
Yeah. But the thing that excites me about this is that I think this is another indicator that they have gone truly desperate, maybe indicative of a course correction. This tells me something is happening behind the scenes where they are now perhaps willing to try and get the audience that they've lost back. And it makes me wonder, what other things are they abandoning and going to put in their place? I don't think we're getting any news anytime soon, but when we do, I expect we're going to get lots of announcements all at once.
Now, a couple more things. Apparently, Lauren, from what I'm hearing, there may be an effort in the next months to also use AI to turn this into something that can be viewed in 3D. Don't know. But also, I'm hearing that some of the cut content that didn't make it into the original theatrical run may also get upscaled, but likely would not be used except for as featurettes in the future. So things like when they had Harrison interacting with Jabba, but before CGI and all that, they may actually go in and try to do some stuff with that, even though it would not be featured in a release.
Yeah, and I think that that's probably the better choice, because even though I love those cut scenes and they were reintegrated into the radio dramas, they do screw with the pacing of the film, and that's a big part of the reason why Lucas didn't want them in there. Besides the fact that part of it was also mandated by the studio because they were uncomfortable with Luke showing up 20 to 30 minutes into the first film. I think actually keeping those scenes out is the better decision.
But wow, I think we're just rays of positivity right now, Steve.
And I was going to say, this is actually like the most George Lucas thing that Disney Lucasfilm has probably done, because George Lucas would 100% go in with AI and change whatever he wanted to change in his story, because as much as the fans really like the canon, George Lucas doesn't give a rip. He just wants to build on his own story and develop it out. So like this, I'm like, wow, Disney's actually doing a George Lucas thing. Actually asking, what would George do? He would screw up his own movie with AI. He would 100% do that.
WWGD. What would George do? Hey, Wizard. One of the reasons that I'm really interested in this story is, number one, it's a very solid source for us. And, we're talking about something that's coming in the future. We don't know what will happen. But also, Wizard, I'm thinking about this Moana live action deal where they tried their best to do AI Maui. And it's not that they couldn't do it technically, it's that the unions wouldn't let them do it. Like they got stymied and stopped by the actor stuff. And then the same thing with Tron Ares. But in this case, I don't see anything that would block them from coming in with AI and cleaning up the movie and making it look like it's absolutely like it was made today, but it's a movie from the 70s, and instead it looks like it's 8K. And then I don't know what stops them. If that's successful, I don't see what would stop them from doing the trilogy that way and releasing them, 1 year after the other.
Yeah, we're definitely hitting that slippery slope of, like, as you said, with everything with Moana, the live action, is it going to be new content and putting new into AI, and who owns all the licensing and rights to it? Well, I guess it's a little different as we're finding out now with things of the past, things that have already been done before. So that's interesting there. I think what's even more interesting than that is kind of something to play on what Lauren was saying, but the fact that there is nothing exciting about the Star Wars brand at all. You have the Ahsoka season 2 coming, you have Starfighter coming, you have Mandalorian and Grogu, and there is none of that is worth talking about. But if we look on the Twitter page for Star Wars right now, that got 1.1 million impressions, 1.1 million impressions when they made the announcement that this was coming to theaters. Okay, comparably, there's nothing that hit 1 million on impressions for Star Wars Twitter in a long time. You can keep scrolling. I'm scrolling right now. 100,000, 97,000, 100,000, 76,000, 1.1 million impressions. This is the only thing people care about with Star Wars. They don't care about anything Disney is doing.
There's two other things that I would point out to that I think are also indicators here. One of them is that the High Republic just ended its run. Now, it was planned to do so, but obviously they weren't getting enough sales to extend it beyond what their original plans were. But also, they announced earlier this year a re-release of the novelization of Episode 3, a really special edition novel form coming out in October. And that's telling me as well, they're looking back at the past and dangling things that the fans are very receptive to. That Episode 3 novelization is considered one of the best Star Wars novels that was ever released.
Absolutely.
I think I look at the this proposed or rumored 8K upscale there with AI at 120 frames per second. I don't know. I think the purist side in me sees that as an abomination. And I've seen what they've been doing with the Wizard of Oz over there for the Las Vegas Sphere. I haven't been necessarily impressed. I think it screws with the focus, getting rid of that film grain. I think there's a texture with these films that I think you need to maintain for them to really feel like those films, especially with stuff like Indiana Jones, but definitely of the vintage Star Wars variety right there. I don't like it, but I do kind of see Lauren's point in that if there are more versions and copies of these films, well, they live on and are distributed more widely, especially for a new generation. That's not always a terrible thing. But Culture, what do you have to say about all this?
Don't you be just a boo bird. Listen, I think that with the AI, they could put the film grain in and still upscale to 8K, so it still has that same feel. The part that I think they should avoid is going to 120 FPS. I don't see a reason to increase that.
Don't make it look like a soap opera. That's the problem, right? When you if you get a 1080p 60 frame per second thing, if it's not a video game where it's like naturally built into what you're doing, the minute you see something like that, it messes with you. You know, and I understand, you know, why do I want to go to 1080p or 4K at, twice the frame rate? You know, well, if you're going to go to 3D, you have to. So you keep fidelity, right? So I get that. But I'm seeing like frame rates of like 240. Like, that's insanity. 120 is high enough. That's, you know, that's absolutely insane. I think it's going to mess with people. I think it's going to be, you're going to develop something that wasn't there in the first place, which is a little bit of an uncanny valley because it's an unnatural frame rate. Things are going to be too real, too poppin'. And I'm sorry, every time these idiots get their hands on something like this, they pull the film grain. And when you add film grain back, it's not the same. You know why? Yeah. Because you do not have the celluloid that actually created the grain in the first place. If you ever wonder why like film looks flat or soulless, it's because it doesn't have depth anymore. I mean, the refraction and all the other things that happen when you project light through an actual frame is magical. It's why it never feels the same when they dink with something. Right. That's why when you're watching TV and you especially when you cruise past some lady's frickin' what do you call it, soap opera. That's why we call it a soap opera look, because it's like that's a stage, that's a set that you can tell the lighting's too good. Everything in this environment's too good. It's not real world, and that breaks it for me. Bye bye.
A lot of the modern stuff is filmed flat, so is
very
to
flat.
Take it in post and mess with it there. That's why we want kind of.
Well,
there's no cinematic lighting techniques anymore. You want it to be as flat as possible, so that you can go ahead and.
Which I think this commentary is really funny coming from a guy using a green screen.
Yeah, no, indeed. But I'm such a purist. You're funny, but it's true. I'm willing to admit it. I will say this. It is hauntingly bad and flat. But that's why everything I shoot is at an angle to add more depth. Wait, stop doing that. Okay, anyway. No, but it's because that depth is gone. There isn't, it doesn't exist anymore. And when you see, I'm going to give you an example. Quantum Mania looks so terrible because it was shot in the volume. And when you look at it on screen, it is flat. The background is flat. There is zero depth, and you can see that with your eye. Whereas when you go watch something like The Great Wizard of Oz, unmessed with, that's pure film. That's pure cinema.
Quantum Leap looks better than Quantum Mania. I want to get a final word to Lauren, though. Lauren, should they bring the holiday special to the Sphere?
It's only a matter of time.
For what purpose?
For Christmas, Lauren.
You know that we do have Geneva conventions about these kind of things.
For the holiday spirit.
We want the Sphere presentation of the holiday special. Can you think about it, Lauren? 16K, 160,000 speakers. Come on, we can hear all those great notes from all that.
16K, B. Arthur, Lauren.
All of the Wookiee dialogue for 16 minutes in the opening where there's no human speech.
Please.
I have seen the holiday special more times than I ever should have, and it baffles me.
Las Vegas. We're bringing it to you. We're bringing your salvation. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We are done for now, but don't worry. Do not fret. Not yet, for more content is still coming your way 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. What a joy it has been to share our time with you. We hope you feel the same. Adding value to your every single day is our job here, and we take it very seriously. Folks, the only thing we ask in return is that you consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it. Stick it to those algorithms. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment right on down below. And folks, if you'd like to subscribe to our partner YouTube channels, That Part Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and some of those radio stations like Vacation Radio, well, we certainly would appreciate it. Until the next time we have the honor of spending time and being invited into your day, folks, we go on our way saying this: keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Jump into the water! Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.